Mr. R.K. Padmanabhan, Sri Narasimhamurthy, Sri Subbanarasimhan, Sri Srikantha, and many of my friends, elders. I am so happy to be here today in a very good function here to release one of the most important books Srinivasmurthy has written on Vedanta and Chinmay bodha. And I will be too happy to say a few words about the outstanding contribution of Sri Srinivasmurthy's book. In fact, I have gone through the book. He had given this book to me a few days back. While going through the book, I find it so interesting. And after having gone through the book, it gave me a feeling of Max Muller's statement. You must have known Max Muller, who was a philosopher, who was a most important study made in Indian origin on the Indian philosophy and Indian Vedanta. He says, life seemed to be too short to read such a gigantic poem as a whole. That means to say, such is the good volume of work he has done in trusting the whole philosophy of life into one booklet, that is Chinmay bodha. Before I thought I should speak a few words about the book, it is prudent on my part to say a few words about Swami Chinmayananda. In fact, I remember very well, during 1972, I was just new to the faculty. A program was conducted at Forts High School ground. Believe it or not, the session was so keen. He took one poem, one verse of Bhagavad Gita shloka for chapter 2, that is Sankhya Yoga, where he delivered this particular shloka. Dhyayato vishayon pumsa sangat seshopajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodho vijayate. This is what he said. And the same shloka he delivered, the lecture was delivered for 3 continuous days on this particular small stanza. Just imagine the amount of knowledge, the amount of expertise he had in this particular field of Bhagavad Gita. This is what, very important from the point of understanding the technique behind it, the versatility behind it, the whole knowledge, whatever he had, which was very interesting from the point of the public speaking. In fact, with this introduction, let me just come to the book directly. Before that, I thought I will make 2 quotes from Chinmayananda, which will be very essential to understand from the point of what we have learned during the philosophy of life. Silently hear everyone. Accept what is good. Reject and forget what is not. This is intelligent living. In fact, in today's environment, probably when you think of such things, you get into a feeling that how I am living, what kind of life I am living, is it worth living for the whole life of span? So all these things will come to your mind. That is why during those days, Chinmaya has attributed one very important intelligent living. In today's environment, intelligentsia is one of the most important coefficients for cajoling a person, making him happy, making him understand, making him viable to the entire society. So this is what it is. In fact, there is one more quote which I thought it should be prudent on my part to tell. Mr. Srinivasmurthy has elaborated it, but I will come to that later on when I talk more of the book actually. Leave aside your regrets of the past, anxieties of the future. Focus intelligently. You see, once again he has used the word intelligently on the present situation. This is the best way of ensuring positive philosophy in life. I think these 2 quotes will totally tell you how the book is. I don't have to tell anything. You read the book. Definitely, it is a comprehensive compendium of what he has done over a period of time. An excellent attachment to the philosophy of life he has remarked in the book. Anyhow, in my talk of today, sir, with your kind permission, probably I have been given some 25 to 30 minutes. I think I can talk to you. I have discreted this particular talk to 5 main subjects. One is Gita Sandesha. Tempted to be along with the talk of Jivana Dharma Yoga of DVG combined with Mamputi Manakaka. Of course, while making the inaugural speech, probably he made a statement that Kannada should not be used. But I am tempted to use Kannada because without Kannada, I don't think I will be in a position to explain my intentions to you. Okay. Anyhow, with due permission from the August group, I think I will be allowed to speak a few words in Kannada also. So he has profiled a very important thing, Vishnu Sahasranama, one of the shlokas we will analyze how it is. Omkara, he has given an excellent explanation how this Omkara as a medical thing will give you a lot of inputs to your health, inputs to your body, inputs to your mind. Internal cleansing, a small story I would like to tell actually, in Kannada, of course. Okay? Let me come to the important aspect of this particular book, which has necessarily arranged in a prolific manner 8 good chapters, if I am correct. Okay? Number 1, the first chapter is God, an overview. God, omnipresence. God's versatility. He has kept it in such a nice fashion. Inputs from Gita. He has analyzed the Bhagavad Gita, all 18 chapters, in a nutshell, which I am going to talk to you in a single word actually. Vishnu Sahasranama, where he has taken inputs from that, how it is related to our daily life and daily activity. He has made it more clear actually. General discussion, section 8. Section 5 gives you the spiritual and general inputs. Section 6 gives concepts through flow diagram. In fact, this I liked it very much. Because everybody understands with a diagram. If a diagrammatic explanation is given, it means to say that you have made the subject clear to you. And I think Srinivasmurthy himself has drawn the pictures, if I am correct. And those pictures have been converted into, without any adulteration, the picture has been converted into the main book actually. No adulteration has been done. Excellent thing actually, which I liked it very much, pictorial representation. Words of wisdom from great thinkers, which I will talk to you later on actually as I proceed. Now let us talk more about book actually. The section 1, very crisply he describes the Jivatma and Paramatma, how they are intertwined. In what way the Jivatma and Paramatma can be clubbed to make our life so eventful, so purposeful. So chapter 1 is very, very interesting. And also he has quoted Adi Shankara's the main concept of living, particularly with regards to Aham Brahmasmi Tattva. And also he has given a common man to understand from Gita, Ishavasya Upanishad, and also Taittiriya Upanishad. So this is how the first chapter goes. If I am correct, very nicely he has narrated. Section 2 is a very big knowledge gaining system, I should say. And also section 2 will give lot of inputs from Bhagavad Gita. In fact, it has 8 chapters in the book actually. Chapter 2 briefs about Swadharma, if I am correct. And chapter 3 talks about karma. Chapter 4 about the enthusiasm in life. And chapter 7 gives you the guidelines of the spiritual value system with which we are living today. Section 3 is elaborate, a few verses and select philosophy, where the Shankara's feeling on Aham Brahmasmi is given in a very beautiful fashion. Section 4 gives some important guidelines on the philosophy of life, how one can live a simple life, how one can make his life happy. So these are all given it. Section 5 is a versatile section on the concepts of gunas like rajas, tamas, and other important aspects which are corroborated there actually. Section 6 gives you the pictorial representation of various gods like Hanuman, Ganesha, Sri Rama, Sri Krishna, and how they look like, what is their conceptual thinking to the human philosophy, how we can take the best from them, have been given in a pictorial representation. Section 8, last section, covers about the words of wisdom from famous personalities. In fact, in section 7, he has emphasized the great personalities' work also, including Dr. Sir M. Vishwesvaraya, which I liked it very much. September 15th, 3 days back, we celebrated his birthday. And he says, Srinivas Murthy has given a very clear indication that you take the positive aspects of Sri Vishwesvaraya, imbibe into your life philosophy. As a divan, you look at him. As a great statesman, you look at him. As an engineer, you look at him. You take the positive aspects of him and put it before you, and the life philosophy, what we call in the travel of journey. So that is what he has enumerated in the book. In fact, in my lecture, as I told you, the 5 parts, the first part is almost over. The second part, where the Bhagavad Gita he has taken to analyze. One important aspect, which I would like to really give you here is the presentation of the Gnana. The Jnanas, that is what we gain, the knowledge, the wisdom, what we have, will have an impact on the overall living of the human being. Nahi gnanena sadusham pavitram iha vidyate tatsvayam yoga siddhaha kalen atmani vindati. This is what it is. As we proceed, on the Gnana, I am compelled to tell you in Kannada here today, Gnana maha pavitravadaddu. ಜ್ಞಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಟಿಯಾದ್ದು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಜ್ಞಾನದಿಂದ ಮುಕ್ತಿ, ಜ್ಞಾನದಿಂದ ಭಕ್ತಿ, ಜ್ಞಾನದಿಂದ ಜೀವನ. So that is what Srinivas Murthy has enumerated in his book itself. It is a very nice compendium, I should say. ಸರ್ವಜ್ಞ ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ, ಜ್ಞಾನದಿಂ ಮೇಲಿಲ್ಲ ಶ್ವಾನದಿಂ ಕೀಳಿಲ್ಲ, ಭಾನುಮಂಡಲದಿಂ ಬೆಳಗಿಲ್ಲ ಜಗದೊಳಗೆ, ಜ್ಞಾನದಿಂದಲೇ ಇಹವು ಜ್ಞಾನದಿಂದಲೇ ಪರವು, ಜ್ಞಾನವಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಸಕಲವು ತನಗಿದ್ದು ಹಾನಿ ಕಾಣೆಯ ಸರ್ವಜ್ಞ. Without knowledge, the life becomes absolutely useless. That is what he finally says. So this is what Srinivas Murthy has given in his book. In a particular chapter, he says, knowledge is the strength, knowledge is the wisdom, knowledge is the power. With this, the philosophy, the life can be easily smooth, and also it will be coincidental with your own thinking, mechanism. That is what the life is. ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಜ್ಞಾನದ ಹಂಬಲ ಹುಟ್ಟಿಸುವುದು ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ. ಜ್ಞಾನ ಎಷ್ಟರ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಬಹಳ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನದ ಮೇಲೆ ಪರಿಣಾಮ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಕಾದ ಕಬ್ಬಿಣದ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಕಾದ ಕಬ್ಬಿಣ ಹೊಡೆದಾಗ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಕ್ ದಿ ಐರನ್ ವೈಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹಾಟ್, ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಎನಿ ಶೇಪ್. ವೆನ್ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಕ್ ದಿ ಐರನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಹಾಟ್, ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ನೆವರ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಎನಿ ಶೇಪ್. ಜ್ಞಾನನೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಹೇಗೆ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತೀವಿ, ನಾವು ಹೇಗೆ ಅನುಸರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತೀವಿ, ಹಾಗೆ ನಾವು ಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ ಮೂರ್ತಿಗಳು ಪುಸ್ತಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಈ ವ್ಯಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನೀವು ತುಂಬಾ ಕೇಳಿರ್ಬೋದು. ವ್ಯಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹರಿದಾಡೋದು ಬರೀ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ, 99%. ಬಟ್ ಅಕೇಶನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂಥ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒನ್ ಲೈನ್ ಗೀತ ಅಂತ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ರೀಸೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ ಮೂರ್ತಿಗಳು ಅದನ್ನೇ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. But I will try to give you a comprehensive 18 chapters in one line actually. What is it? Each chapter, one line. Chapter 1. Wrong thinking is the only problem in life. Arjuna Vishwada Yoga. Arjuna goes to depression. He says, I cannot wage the war against my own relatives. This is where you have put me into embarrassment today, Krishna. I cannot do the war. I can see Dronacharya. I can see Karna. I can see many eminents here, Bhishmacharya, Krupacharya, Duryodhana. They are all kids. How can I wage war against him? Krishna says, you are not doing war. You are winning dharma here. Dharma samsthapanarthaya. That is what he says. This is one thing which Srinivasmurthy has also given a beautiful explanation in his book actually with regards to this particular Bhagavad Gita chapter. I would like to give you the comprehensive thing, chapter by chapter, that will give you an idea how Bhagavad Gita could be contemplated into one particular philosophy of life actually. Chapter 2, right knowledge is the ultimate solution of all problems. This is what he says. Gain knowledge. Knowledge is a momentum. Knowledge is a free flow. Knowledge is something which you can always have in your mind and make sure that others are also important with this technology of knowledge. Okay. 3. Selflessness is the only way to progress in prosperity. 4. Every act can be an act of prayer. Give importance to prayer. 5. Renounce the ego of individuality and realize the bliss of infinity. 6. Connect to the higher consciousness of the world. Chapter 7. Live what you learn. Each one, teach one. That is the life actually. The cycle gets completed. Okay. Chapter 8. Never give up anything in your life. Take everything as a challenge. Make sure that you are in the synchronization of the whole philosophy of world. Chapter 10. See divinity all around. Make sure that you are not making the mistake in living. Chapter 10. Have enough surrender to see such as life. Chapter 12. Observe your mind in the higher status. Think positive. Go for the higher status. Chapter 13. Detach from Maya and attach to the divinity. Chapter 15. Give priority to the divinity. Chapter 16. Being good is a reward in itself. Chapter 17. Choosing the right over the present is a sign of power. Chapter 18. Let go, let us move, union with God. Anyata sharanam nasti tvameva sharanam mamaha. Tasmat karanya bhavena raksharaksho janardana. This is what he says. Prostrate. That is what the philosophy of 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita has been totally given in one line, which explains the philosophy of life. This is what we are really finding in this book of Chinmay. Tempted to quote a Kagga, as Nasamurti introduced me as a Kagga man actually. In fact, for every human being, there will be a thinking mechanism. He thinks constantly. Okay. During the process of thinking, he will get into so many other important aspects of, particularly with regards to philosophy of life. And he will say, yes, I am the supreme. Without me, nothing can be done. In fact, I have to be recognized. Mannane. He says, of course, same thing he has given, from GBD's Jivana Dharma Yoga. Annadhaturakinta Chinnadhatura Tikshna. Chinnadhaturakinta Hendugandaru. Mannaneya Daha E Yellakinta Tikshnatama Adu Tinnuvudu Atmavane Munkutimma. Where he says, that if you say that I have to be recognized, then where are you? What are you? So these are all thinkings which will come to the human being as a whole. Okay? In fact, you must have heard of Albert Einstein, a famous physicist. He made theory of relativity. E is equal to mc square, where he brought energy and mass together actually. And then he says, this particular equation, a theory of relativity, will also give you some input about the energy which can either be destroyed or can be generated. So during the process of this particular philosophy, he says, he developed one more equation for the betterment of human beings. because he became what we call as the metaphysicist. The metaphysics is nothing but higher philosophy. So he made a beautiful equation. The equation says ego is equal to 1 over knowledge. If knowledge is more, the person will be less egoistic. If knowledge is less, the person will be more egoistic. So this is how the philosophy of life, of Albert Einstein has given in his impetus on the life-living technology, life-living mechanism. So with which we are all very partners today from the angle of what we call the egoistic field. Okay. So coming to the same philosophy of life, DVG further analyzes and further gives you an input to the book actually, where Srinivasmurthy has enumerated this, of course, in a different way. ಹುಲ್ಲಾಗು ಬೆಟ್ಟದಡಿ ಮನೆಗೆ ಮಲ್ಲಿಗೆಯಾಗು, ಕಲ್ಲಾಗು ಕಷ್ಟಗಳ ಮಳೆ ಬಿದಿ ಸುರಿಯೆ, ಬೆಲ್ಲ ಸಕ್ಕರೆಯಾಗು ದೀನ ದುರ್ಬಲರಿಗೆ, ಎಲ್ಲರೊಳಗೊಂದಾಗು ಮಂಕುತಿಮ್ಮ. Be one with all. This is the life actually. What DVG says and what Kagga says and what Srinivasmurthy has given in his book, in particularly in chapter 2, if I remember well, section 2. Okay. One most important thing which I thought I should tell you about the philosophy of life on Omkara, because this is something which I thought is very useful, very enumerative. He has also touched this particular aspect in his book actually, how this Om will transform each and every individual in respect of thinking. You may be knowing All India Institute of Medical Research, Johns Hopkins University, and also Arizona University in USA. They have done basic research on what is known as Brahmari Pranayama, which he has touched in his book also. Brahmari Pranayama, once you do with devotion, it will give you a medical improvement on major parameters, vital parameters of the body. They have conducted experiments at this university. They divided their students into 2 batches. The first batch, they chant Vedic hymns, including the Brahmari Pranayama and Omkara. The second batch, nothing is done. Medicine is given. So after about 2.5 months of study, they have taken vital parameters of each and every individual. And they find that lot of improvements in systolic, diastolic, and also on the sugar parameters, particularly blood glucose level, it came down thumpingly with regards to the chanting of Omkara. I'm not bluffing all these things. This is there's a scientific evidence for this actually. As long as you are clear about what you are doing in respect of this particular philosophy of life, like this Omkara and other things, which you take into account, for the mechanism of improvement of your life, you are doing a wonderful job with regards to the philosophy, with regards to happiness, with regards to the momentum which you have gained over a period of time. Okay. Anyhow, sir, I don't want to really take more time, and then only I would like to give one small example which you have given actually in the book while describing Lord Ganesha, where a lot of organs, probably Ganesha is nothing but an elephant head actually. He has a large ear, very small eye, okay, and correct? You agree? Okay. When Ganesha's imagination, you can correlate that to life actually. That's what Srinivasmurthy has done in a beautiful manner. In fact, the large ears indicate that you listen to everything, and leave what you don't want. Leave away what you don't want. So this is the indication of large ears in Ganesha. Very nicely he has explained. And small eyes is nothing but it concentrates. It will not allow you to see bad. It will allow you to see only good things in life actually. So this is another important aspect of Lord Ganesha which he has brought in the book. The third most important thing is, he has taken actually the tusk, which signifies the idea that one must conquer emotion with wisdom. So that is what he says. Curved trunk signifies the high efficiency and adaptability which he has given in the book actually. In fact, Lord Ganesha, when you see his picture or even his idol, he wears either yellow or red color dress. Okay, the red signifies the activity, the yellow signifies the peace in which we are living today. So this is how the whole philosophy he has brought in a very nice way actually. In fact, he has also given, he has very important thing on prayer. ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆಯ ಮೂಲ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಅಡೆತಡೆಗಳನ್ನು ನಿವಾರಣೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಸ್ವಾರ್ಥವನ್ನು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಿ ನಮಗೆ ಏನು ಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನ ಭಗವಂತನಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇಡಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದೇ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆಯ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ he has made it very clear in his book actually. ಸ್ವಾರ್ಥದಿಂದ ದ್ವೇಷ, ಅಸೂಯೆ, ಕೋಪ, ಮನಸ್ತಾಪ ಉಂಟಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬ ಮನುಷ್ಯನು ತನ್ನ ಸ್ವಾರ್ಥವನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಭೂಮಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಶಾಂತಿ ನೆಲೆಸುತ್ತೆ. ಜಪಾನ್ನ ಒಬ್ಬ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನಿ, ಇವನ ಹೆಸರು ಮಸೂರಾ ಇಮಾಟೋ. He has done lot of research on prayers. In fact, he has made some research papers on prayer itself. How to pray, what prayer will make you, prayer as an influential factor, how it can improve your philosophy of thinking. With devotion, if you make prayer, what benefits you will have, how you can confine yourself into the prayer with which you can pray what you want, what you need, what you really insist upon. All these things could be correlated into scientific explanation in a modeling which Japanese scientist has done. Srimad also clearly mentions that prayer is the essential part in human being which will transform you into a different personality, into a different real entity as it is. That is what it says. The book Chinmay Bodha by Srimad is a very precious gift to the society. An excellent guide for those who seek happiness through Vedanta and Advaita Siddhanta. All the 8 sections provide tremendous inputs to the knowledge seeker and provide tips for happy living. I personally congratulate Sri Srinivasmurthy ji on this profound work dedicated to the cause of happy living of human beings. I wish him good luck and expect more such excellent contributions for the upliftment of society. I take it as a great honor, privilege in releasing this book, and I am sure this is going to help the intention